Didn't you know that you were loved? Didn't you know that you were chosen? Didn't you know you were beautiful? And didn't you know that you were enough? Welcome to Real Talk today. Thank you for joining me for another moment in the meantime. Hey, it is your girl Be Real, and I thank you so much for joining me for another moment in the meantime. I pray that your day has gotten off to an amazing start, and if it has not, it's all right because you still got a lot of time left in the day for everything to be exactly what it is that you're hoping is going to be. I really do pray that y'all are doing well. With everything that's going on, with everything, that's just kind of that we're dealing with. Like, I really hope that you got peace. I hope that your faith is still where it needs to be. I hope you haven't lost any courage to continue going forth in the things that you were already pursuing. I just want to be, one of the first people to tell you that don't be the person on social media who is sending 2020 straight to hell and just deeming that this is going to be the worst year ever, because I still believe in the promise that God gave me for this year. And I just believe that God is going to do everything that He has promised. I believe He is going to sustain His people. I believe that at the end of the day, we will all be just fine. So I just really, really, really pray that y'all are doing well. I pray that you're in good spirits. And I just pray that this has actually been a time of, even though, it's kind of chaotic, I just pray that, you've been able to find peace during this time. I did make, just in case you didn't already know, I did make my entire library available for free download. So that's every book I've ever written. It is available to download just to pass the time. Those of you who may be off work, you just really need something productive to do. Every book that I have written, it has a special message directly from God, but I've tried to deliver it in a way to where it's, kind of funny, a little witty, but very relatable to just real life. You know what I mean? So if you've not read every single book that I've written, definitely go ahead and just download it. It's absolutely free. So I think this is a great time to really just check on like your mental health, check on your just relaxation. You know what I mean? Just take some time to yourself, and I think you can do that by reading a good book. Of course, another thing that you can be doing is catching up on these podcast episodes. So if you're not caught up, then definitely take some time to do that. I believe we got over 60 episodes, so always just take a little time to get some good nuggets in, get some gems that I'm dropping on you via the Father. So just take time to do that. I do recognize, I do realize that during this time there are people who are completely stressed out, and I'm telling you, I'm basically, just like really praying that you have found peace in the midst of all this chaos. But sometimes, if you be honest, you just need to know, how do I find that peace, Brittney? Like, I want to be peaceful right now. I want to be calm right now. I want to not walk around freaking out, but I honestly don't know how to do that. And so if you're that person, I am offering free 20-minute life coaching sessions for you, just to basically allow you the opportunity to share what's on your heart, and then together we can establish an action plan for you to really intentionally pursue peace during this season. So like I said, I do have free 20-minute sessions that will allow you to speak to me about the matters of your heart, and then we can together come up with an action plan that will allow you to really pursue peace during this time. And so that's my special gift to you all during this season, during this time of chaos. And we just, it's just kind of, we don't really know what's going on moment by moment, but I believe that what God has given to me, He's wanting, he's requiring me to give it to you. So that's what I have to offer. And if you want to take me up on that coaching, all you have to do is just send an email to itmt@brittneyreal.com and let me know that you're interested in that. We can go ahead and get you set up. Yeah, but that's important. If for any reason the books are all on iBookstore, on the Nook. Now, in the meantime, it's on Amazon, but they only allowed me to make it free for like 2 days. So if for some reason you didn't catch in the meantime being free and you want your free downloadable copy, then you can just hit me up. You can send me an email, itmt@brittneyreal.com. You can send me a DM on Instagram. You can send me a message on Facebook, and I'll make sure you get that downloadable copy. I'll have to send it to you directly. But yeah, I just want to make sure y'all straight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of that on that. And I just been calling it quarantine with your girl Be Real. And yeah, we're going to get through this time. We're going to get through this season with the help of God and with the peace of God. So that is what I wanted to say on that, just to make sure you know that I am here for you during this time. All right. That's pretty much that on that. Yeah. So, are y'all good? I can't really hear you talking back to me, but I really do hope y'all are good. I'm excited about what God has given me for this week. It's actually a 2-part series. Next week, I'm super excited. I have a surprise for you guys next week. Like it's already like planned, because y'all know I be saying I'm gonna do something, they be like, I changed my mind. But it's actually a thing, so I'm excited. But I want to tell y'all about something. It's going to lead into the lesson for this week, or the thought for this week, whatever you want to call it. Lesson sounds kind of formal, but anywho, so every night I listen to Rain. I go on YouTube and I find like this 10-hour clip with a dark screen, and it plays the rain. It plays, a little thunderstorm. You can choose what you want to hear. Most often than not, I listen to just a heavy rainstorm, or I also like to hear rain on the ocean. That's pretty soothing for me too. Anyway, every night, this is what I do. I listen to this. It helps me to sleep. It's just very calming I turn it up really loud so I can feel like I'm right there in the middle of a storm, and I just go to sleep. It's very peaceful for me. So that's like my thing. That's like what I do every single night. It provides me with a great rest. So if you've never done that, you should try it. It's so good. My daddy put me up on it, and it's lit. But what I did was, the other night, I came in my room and I was about to turn on my little track or whatever so I could go to sleep, when I noticed a light tapping on my window. And when I noticed that tapping on my window, I was like, oh, is that rain? And so I opened up my blinds real quick to take a look. And once I looked outside, I said, oh, it's raining. And I could hear the little sprinkle of rain, right? But it wasn't enough. It wasn't as loud as what I've become accustomed to from my YouTube track or whatever. And I was faced with a decision. It was like, all right, do I want to listen to the natural rain, or do I want to go ahead and turn on this YouTube, because I already know what this YouTube got popping for your girl, right? And as I was making my decision, it hit me that so many times we get accustomed to the counterfeit thing, that when the real thing comes along, we can't even appreciate it. And that thing stuck me. So I turned off YouTube. I said, no, you can't be that girl, Brittney. We're going to listen to this natural rain. We're going to listen to the real thing. And it just really, 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 really made me get to thinking. I'm like, how many times in my real life, something more serious than listening to rain, like, have I been so comfortable with the fake thing that I was nervous about the real thing, or that I was apprehensive about the real thing? You know what I'm saying? And so I thought about that, and I just started to, do some self-evaluation, to just really take a look at myself and just ask, where in my life, Brittney, am I really more comfortable with the counterfeit than I am with what's real. And so I just did, like I said, did a little self eval, you know what I'm saying? And it just really stuck with me. This was actually a few weeks ago when it happened. And so this week I actually get to just kind of share that with you, that thought. Just in what areas of your life have you just really, really, really gotten in there with the fake thing that you wouldn't even recognize the real thing if it hit you in the face? You know what I'm saying? And that could be in a relationship. That could be, you around here messing around with somebody that you know ain't the one. You steady entertaining them. You steady talking to them. You steady giving them your time, giving them your space, giving them your vibe. And you know that it's not the real thing. And it's just kind of like, when do you expect when the real thing comes along, would you even recognize it? Or is your attention so far focused on what's fake? And it could be a relationship, or it could be your career path. It could be your job. Like I say, we try to go across the board with everything, but it's just like, it just made me think, like, in what way am I more content with what's fake instead of what's real? And so that leads me into our thought for the week. And basically, ain't nothing like the real thing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. There's nothing like the real thing. And one of my favorite songs is All Night by Beyonce. Look, if you didn't know this about me, my favorite album by Beyonce is Lemonade. Like, she got a lot of good, like, I love B. I don't really like, I'm like low key in the Beehive, but I really like, I get down with Beyonce or whatever. And Lemonade just happens to be my favorite album by her. And so in her song on there, it's called All Night, she makes this statement, nothing real can be threatened. And so I really love that saying. Of course, my last name being real, it just kind of give me like that little by myself, like nothing real can be threatened. But anyway, she says that nothing real can be threatened, and I be feeling that every time she say it, right? And so I was just thinking, and just going over some things in my head and my life, and I'm coming off a 2-week fast, just fasting about some things in particular or whatever. And this thought just really came to me as I ended the fast, and it was about the prophet Elijah. It's in 1 Kings chapter 18. It's a lot of verses, y'all. 21 through 40. I'm going to see if I can paraphrase it. It's a lot, but I just want to tell y'all basically what's going on with the story, and you can definitely at any time go and check it out yourself. And I think, like I said, I think it's very important that when I share these scriptures with y'all, like, go back and read it for yourself. Like, don't just count on what I say. Like, I read, I try to study a little bit, but at the end of the day, I think what Real Talk today is set to do, like I said, I want to bring it home. I want to make it make sense. I want to bring it to your front door. But at the same time, like, I want to encourage you to pursue God for yourself, pursue His word for yourself. So I'm going to try to paraphrase the story as best I can. But I'm probably also just going to pull it up because I do not want a lot of y'all. But but yeah, definitely go and read it for yourself. But what's going on in the story? You got Elijah. He is one of the Lord's prophets, and Jezebel, she is like this whole situation or whatever. And so basically it's just like this big showdown happening, when you got Baal, who is a false god. He's an idol god, and they worship Baal. Some people, they worshiping Baal or whatnot. And so you got y'all bear with me. You got Elijah, who is a prophet of the Lord, the Lord that we know, God. Amen. Right. And so what's happened is that all of the other prophets of the Lord, they've been killed. And so Elijah is the only prophet of the Lord who is left. And so what happens is Elijah, he's left and then he shows back up. And so when he shows up, he like challenges them to like this competition, right? And so at the competition, what he says is like 450 prophets of Baal there. And so he challenges them, like, he says to them, this is verse 21. He says to them, like, how long will you try to have it both ways? If the Lord is God, then follow him. If Baal is God, then follow him. And, the people, that they didn't say anything or whatever. And so he just, let them know that he was the only surviving prophet of the Lord, and how it was 450 prophets of Baal. And so he challenges them to this competition. This is verse 23. It says, give us 2 bulls. Let the prophets of Baal choose one for themselves, cut it into pieces, lay it on the wood, but not set it on fire. I'll do the same thing with the other bull. And he tells them, you can call on the name of your gods, but I will call on the name of the Lord. The God who answers by fire is the real God. So they got like this whole little challenge going on. You got the prophets of Baal. Like I say, it's an idol god. But Baal is the idol god. You got the prophets of Baal. They out there. And so they're in competition with Elijah, who is the prophet of the Lord. And so Elijah, he's heavily outnumbered. It's 1 to 450. You know what I'm saying? But he's believing in the real thing. You know what I'm saying? And so even though he's outnumbered, even though he's outnumbered, and even though he has every right to be afraid, he has every right to be intimidated, because it's just him, he's there, and he's just like, you know what, you call on your God, I'm gonna call on mine. Whichever one bring down fire, that's the real God, and that's who we're gonna worship, okay? And so that was the challenge. And so what happens is the prophets of Baal, they start, they set up their altar or whatever with the bull. And so they did all of this, and they're trying to get, the fire to come down. And so after, several hours, seems like, nothing was going on, and Elijah started feeling himself. So he's kind of teasing at them like, oh, what y'all gonna, like, oh my God, is anything gonna ever happen or whatever? And they just continue calling on the name of their God, and nothing happened. And so finally it was Elijah's turn. And so he rebuilt the altar that had been torn down, and he took, some stones and whatnot. He set up the altar, right? And so what happens is he just says to them, he calls on the name of the Lord. And let me find that verse. I want to read that one. It says, when it was time, this is verse 36, when it was time to offer the sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward. He said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, make known today that you are God in Israel, and that I'm your servant, and have done all these things by your instructions. Then verse 37 says, answer me, Lord, answer me. Then these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are winning back their hearts. And then it says, so a fire from the Lord fell down and consumed the burnt offering, wood, stones, and dirt. The fire even dried up the water that was in the trench. All the people saw it and immediately bowed down to the ground. The Lord is God, they said. The Lord is God. And so what happens is, like I said, they got this little competition thing going on. And in the competition, it's like, who is the real, like, who is real? Like, is Baal the real God, or is the Lord the real God? And so it's so easy, right? Like I look at this scripture, I look at this passage, and I think about Elijah, and I wonder, like, in a situation where you're outnumbered, where there are more people going for the false thing, are you willing to stand up and stand on the real thing? Are you willing to, in a society where more and more people are drifting away from the idea of being married, are you willing to say, no, marriage is ordained by God, and so I'm willing to go my own separate way so I can do the real thing, so I can do the right thing, the thing that God has told us to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, just just, are you willing to go against the masses to actually stand on what's real? Are you willing to just be down with what's real, be down with the true thing? And I think that Elijah is so admirable in this story, because it was just him, but he was bold enough to say that, even though y'all are the majority, y'all into what's fake, y'all into the false thing, but I'm going to stand on what's real, and the Lord is real. And even though I'm by myself, I'm willing to still say that, no, I'm going to serve God. I'm going to stand on this thing. And it, like I said, for him, it was just a matter of like, all right, which God is real? You know what I'm saying? But in our everyday lives, like, a lot of times we don't have to just come at it like that. But when you think about your jobs, and you think about family, and you think about your love situations and all this and that, are you committed to what's are you committed to the idol thing, or are you committed beyond a doubt? Are you committed beyond being shaken? Are you willing to stand firm on what you know to be real? Like, God is real. His laws are real. His plans are real. His promises are real. And even if everyone else is willing to go against that thing for the idol gods that they serve, because you got to understand that we may not say, oh, we serving Baal, or, people ain't just walking around like, oh yes, like, with bronze statues and stuff like that, and bowing down that like they did in the Bible days. But it's like, think about the world itself. So many things are getting so many things, I'm saying it right. So many things are being idolized. And so even in a world where idolatry is rampant in our everyday lives, it's just like, but what will you focus on? What will you do? Like, I had a conversation with my mom recently when I was at home, and we were just talking about the things that we idolize, and how it keeps us from the real thing. Like, we idolize our jobs, we idolize our careers, we idolize our relationships, we idolize all these things that ultimately keep us away from God, that ultimately keep us away from having a real relationship with Him. We can never go to church because we're working 7 days a week, but we don't never take no Sabbath, because it's just like, no, I gotta get it, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, greed causes us to really it causes us to miss out on what's real a lot of times, because we're so busy going after things that we don't spend any real time with our family. We don't spend any real time getting to know the people that He has placed in our lives. We don't spend any real time nurturing and caring for those relationships. We don't spend any real time getting to know ourselves and healing ourselves of the past and things like that. So it's just like, what are you willing to turn away from, so that you can make sure and ensure that what you have with God remains real? You know what I'm saying? And I really hope that makes sense. But Elijah was bold enough to stand alone and say, no, the Lord is real. I won't, like, Baal is fake, the Lord is real. You know what I'm saying? He was willing to do that. And a lot of times we just aren't willing to do that. But in this episode, like, I just want us to, I guess, just think about the fake thing. Think about the idol that we sometimes look at, and we shun the real thing, because this is the thing that gets the most attention. This is what the masses are doing. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? So even like in the situation we got now, where it's like we're quarantined, like ain't nobody too much going out, like you ain't going to no restaurant, you ain't going to the movies, you ain't going to no shows, you ain't going to nothing. And it's just like, so now you at home facing your real life. And so it's just like, what have you made a god of that has kept you away from what's real? You know what I'm saying? I think that's what I'm trying to say. What have you made a god of that has kept you away from what's real? Your real family, your real life, your real feelings, your real, like, what, like, are you willing to face what's real, or are you willing to stand up for what's real? Are you willing to embrace what's real? You know what I'm saying? Or are you still just so caught up in everything else? And I believe that this story, it gives us, it shows us the courage of one who says no. I'm gonna, even if I have to stand alone, I am going to stand here, and I'm going to know that God is real, and I'm willing to, go against anybody. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just kind of how I'm feeling. That's what's on my heart this week, to just really, let's take a look at what we are making gods out of, and let's get back to what's real, because nothing real can be threatened. You know what I'm saying? We serve a real God who has made real promises to us. You know what I'm saying? Did I say that right? Who has made real promises to us. And we just gotta really stand firm in that, even if the situation, you seem outnumbered, or the other side seems like, the opposing side seems like just much more than you. Like, still be willing to stand on the real thing. Yep. Yeah, I hope that made sense, because that's all that's on my heart, and I don't got nothing else, okay? I don't got nothing else. That's what I have. But I really, really, really pray that that resonates, and I pray that that makes sense. I pray that you get what I'm saying. Like, to me, I just know that I was jerked into like this reality check when I was about to listen to a YouTube track versus the actual rain, like the real rain that God sent to the earth. I was gonna listen to a YouTube track instead of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it fit my preferences more. It fit my desires more. You know what I'm saying? So I was just gonna go with the fake thing. But I just believe that God is saying, like, choose me because I'm real. You know what I'm saying? Choose me because my word is real. My promises are real. My protection is real. My provision is real. Everything I do is real because I am a real God. But these things that you put in place of me is not real. It's fake, and those things will fail you. Like, when you've put all of your trust in something that is not real, you will be just like those 450 prophets of Baal who out there, and it's just like, when it's time for, like, you putting all your trust in a job, and when it's time for that job to show up for you, you will get left hanging. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go quit your jobs, ladies and gentlemen. It was just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what I'm saying. But it's just like that fake thing. Like, you know good and well that you not with the one, you not with the right person, and now you sitting here shame because you didn't put all this business out on Facebook and it didn't work out. But it's just like, that was never the real thing, and you knew it. You know what I'm saying? So when you don't put your faith, when you don't put all that you got into the real thing, you know what I'm saying? It'll leave you embarrassed, and it'll leave you looking silly, because what's real is not going to hold you up. No, what's fake is never going to hold you up, but what's real always got you. You know what I'm saying? And so when they were having that competition, Baal and them, the prophets of Baal, they out there calling for Baal. Baal wasn't nowhere to be found. But when Elijah called upon the name of the Lord showed up. So that's just what I'm trying to say today. Like, put your faith, put your trust in what's real. You know what I'm saying? Put your trust in God. Pursue real relationships, pursue real friendships, pursue a real career, pursue a real job. And what's real to you, like, I'm not saying like one job may be real, another one is fake, but you know what's real in your spirit, because you know what God has placed on your heart to do, and whatever God has placed on your heart, then that's the real thing for you. So pursue what's real, you know what I'm saying, because that's going to ultimately be the thing that God sustains. He's not gonna he ain't gonna hold you up with something you idolizing that ain't even for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of what it is today. I really pray. I pray so hard, y'all, that really makes sense to y'all. I tried to say it the way God was giving it to me, and I hope I did. But I just pray that you get it. I pray that you get it. I pray that you get it. That's what it is though this week, guys. I'm not gonna hold you guys long. Like I said, please tune in next week. It's gonna be super exciting. I have a guest who's gonna be on the show, so I'm super excited about that. And we're still going to be talking about Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing, because there's definitely a part 2. And we're going to be talking about Esther in this POV. But it's going to be dope. It's going to be fun. Be sure to share this podcast. Let somebody know that there is a weekly podcast happening, Real Talk Today, and it's available on Apple Podcasts. It's available on Google Play. It's available on Spotify. It's available on YouTube. Let somebody know. Like, that's really all I want y'all to do for me. Just let somebody know that there's actually a podcast that happens once a week, and I'm trying to bring y'all all the vibes, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, guys. I'm working on some stuff for the podcast. And, you know, as I try new things, I try to let y'all know what's going on. But, yeah, for right now, we got a little extra time in the house. Ain't going nowhere. So I'm going to be definitely working on some cool stuff we're trying anyway. But, yes, I did receive an email. Somebody told me to do the Got the Whole World in His Hands challenge. And let me just tell y'all something. About that Got the Whole World in His Hands challenge. I've seen a lot of singers singing that, and that world is catching us off, okay? I'm hearing a lot of key changes going forth. And I know that this is all for good merit, and we all just trying to uplift the world. But I'm just like, we got Grammys and Stellas, but some of these whole world is some of it's just not really going. And so that actually made me very nervous to see that I've been challenged to do it. Now I'm gonna try it real fast, but if it don't go well, then we're either gonna keep it because we do one take along. We're either gonna do this one take or we're gonna cut it off. So let's just see, okay? Now I saw Usher, he did his, and he just kept it straight, like pre-K, and I appreciated him for that. Instead of being that like super extra, I would like to say that my personal favorite though is Mariah Carey and Casey Haley. Oh, it's so good, guys. But anywho, because in the spirit of let's uplift the world, I'll try. Let's see what we got, okay? Testing. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 All right, I'm going to play that back. If I don't like it, then it's going to be gone. But we'll see. Anywho, in the meantime, just remember that you're loved, you're chosen, you're beautiful, you are enough. And I think you're kind of dope, too. That's what it is, y'all. I'll talk to y'all next week. Bye. If you have not followed me on Instagram, go ahead and do that now at B.REEL. Look, if you put REAL, you just won't find me there. So go ahead and follow me at B.REEL. Also follow the In the Meantime Instagram page at _ITMT. If you have not joined the text family, text ITMT to the number 31996, and that's going to get you plugged into all things Be Real. Listen, remember in the meantime that you're loved, you're chosen, you're beautiful, you are enough. And I think you're kind of dope too, all right? I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.